Pages at Heart design team release for January is the Otterly Adorable Scrapbooking Workshop. I have created this workshop using the Otterly Amazing Stamp and Dies. This is the main feature of this workshop, which uses the Otterly Adorable paper. I'll show you some of the paper I have left. After creating this workshop, I used almost every piece that I have. I have just some scraps left. We've got this nice design, leafy design with a wash of color on different sides. We've got some otters, some swimming otters with some blue water wash on this side, some adorable otters on this one with a gray wash color. And there is a scene paper. I refer to it as a scene because the whole 12 by 12 sheet was a scene of otters swimming in the water. Now these are river otters. So that's why you see more greens and browns in this paper. This was really fun to work with. I'm going to show you how I use this piece here. Let's see, there's also a piece that looks like this. This is another swimming otter paper. And on this side, we have these little green vines with the little coral fishes swimming through it. That's a look at the paper. There are 6 sheets. There are 12 sheets of paper, 2 each of 6 designs. One of them, I think I've used all of the paper, so I didn't show that to you. But this is the stamp. This is the clear stamps. And you can also purchase the Otterly Amazing Dies, which you have a lot of dies here. So you've got the 3 otter stamps, which have coordinating dies. But the fun thing about these is they also match up to some of the images on the paper. So you can cut your image and not have to color. So that one fits on that one. And I believe it's this page that has all the other 3 that you can use. So we've got this one, and then the little otter that's laying on his back. And we've even got a little tiny otter here swimming. So those match up exactly to those pieces of paper. And I love the dies for this reason. When they match them up to the paper, I do like to color, but sometimes I'm not happy with how mine turns out, coloring turns out, or I'm just in a hurry. We've also got a log and a lot of little different leaves. And here's a school of fishes that are swimming. I'm going to show you how I use those in the layout, and some little bubbles, some rocks. So there are a lot of dies. Now, like I said, you can purchase these separately, but I use both the stamp and the dies on this layout, including the sentiments. So you save 10% when you buy it as a bundle. And I recommend doing that, especially if you want to create your layouts exactly like mine. I also use these Riverside Irregular pearls. And there are 3 shades. If I hold them up, you can see how they are iridescent. So we've got some that are more white, silver, and then some with some blue in it, make it iridescent. So those were fun to use. Another item that I used is the Lagoon cord. And let's see, yes, rolled off my table. This is a really pretty cord. It is thick, so it will add bulk a little bit to your page. And I am going to show you how I use that in my pages. Really like the cord. Now, the other dies, these are standalone dies that I use. This is Spotlight on Nature dies. I highly recommend this. If you have not purchased it, you get all of these circle dies, and they have decorative edges. there's three different, let's see, three different decorative edges. So it really does add interest to your papers when you use those. Also, I used the Hearts of Elegance dies. I used a couple of them. I did not use all of them, just a few. This product that was released in September, but some fun hearts that I added to the page. Well, let's take a look at the layout. This is the guide that you will get. You get this guide for free when you make a purchase, a $50 minimum purchase from any of our design team members' website. And when you make that purchase, after you make your purchase, just send an email requesting the guide that you would like. So when you make a $50 minimum purchase from one of the design team members, you can request the guide that we have released. Just send an email. We are also selling these guides for $20 without a purchase, and you can find more details on our websites about that. This is the guide, so it tells you exactly what products was used, and it gives you step-by-step instructions. You can see here's the cutting guide. Everything is numbered, and then you get into your pages. It shows you how to put it together, what pieces go what, where, and you've got step-by-step instructions, close-ups where needed. So that's a little bit about the guide. Sorry for the blurriness. My camera didn't know what to focus on. Let's start by looking at the layouts. So I'm just going to kind of briefly go over the layouts to show you how I use some of the things and what I did. Now, all of the titles were Cricut cut titles. These are an SVG file. So when you request this guide, you will get a separate file that is an SVG that you can upload to your cutting machine, your Cricut, or whatever you use. And the size is in the instructions on how you need to size your title. So I used the stamp on this one. You can see I thought it was kind of fun to stamp the otter around, peeking behind some of the pieces of paper. This one's swimming. He's half in the water and half out. I've used the Spotlight on Nature circle here along with the sentiment from the stamp set. That is layout 1. Layout 2 is Otterly Relaxing Vibes. The otters on this page just made me think of just doing something fun and relaxing. So that's why I gave it that title. This is where I use the dies from the otter directly on the paper with these two. Now we've got some fussy cut ones too. They're really easy to cut out. And you can see on this one, 2 of them, you can see the little white water bubbles. I included those when I cut those out. Here is where I use the swimming fish, the little schools of fish. And I will show you at the end, after I show all the layouts, I'll show you how I did those. And here you see the cord on this layout. Now on this first layout, I forgot to point this out, I wrapped the cord around these 2 photo mats and pop these up with Stampin Dimensionals. That's because the cord is kind of thick and it would kind of make your mat bumpy. So to keep it all level and even, I used the Stampin Dimensionals to pop those 2 photos up. On this one, I just wrapped it around both of the pages. On the second layout, I've got a few things going on here that I've done. We've got some paper tearing. I've used the big Spotlight on Nature die here, and this is strategically placed so that it covers up where the angled piece of paper does not cover up the total page. This is the other paper here that I did not have to show you, but this was used for my base page on this one. So that is where I used that. Let me get this. This is the scene paper, and you can see this is where I cut that out from that page. And in the middle of this page were some swimming otters, and I cut those out and used those on layout. And I'll show you where I use this little bottom corner right here. So I used the rocks on this page and just cut them out, and that creates the border for the photo. I did not attach it, so you can slip a photo right down under there. There's got some hearts, and I just used the rocks and logs and a lot of fussy cutting and some leaves there. Now on my title, I cut this out on the Lost Lagoon cardstock, but I used Lost Lagoon ink and a sponge and just sponged color halfway up on each letter before I removed it from the cutting mat. I left it on the cutting mat and I used a sponge to color the title there, just to add some interest. And then on layout number 4, again, more spotlight on nature dies. I've used a couple of different sizes and just went around in a circle. And you can also see where I used the gray granite ink and I stamped some leaf background onto the old olive circles just to add a little bit more to the circles so that they are not so plain. For my title, I cut it out twice on espresso ink and then, espresso cardstock and then old olive, and then layered and offset it just to add a little bit more interest. So those are the 4 layouts that you will create using the Otterly Amazing paper, the it's actually Otterly Adorable paper, and the Otterly Amazing stamp and dies. This was really fun to create. I think it's great for outdoor photos. It doesn't even have to be outdoor. It can be just anything fun, because these little river otters are so fun. Let me show you really quick what I did with the swimming dies. See my other piece of paper on. Let me pull this layout out so you can see. For instance, on this one, I've got these strips next to each other. So you'll just lay them next to each other as they would be on the page. And I just looked at the swimming fish to see which direction and where they are. And before you cut them and before you adhere it to your page, you might want to just kind of lay it down, lay the pieces down, lay your photo mats on your page, and then just look at the fishes. And so I've got fishes going this way. So I'm going to just draw an arrow, just real light. And then I've got more fishes swimming this way. And down here, let's see, we've got some fish going this way. And so really all of my fish are swimming the opposite direction of what this would be if you put this down, unless you're going up. And you don't have to make them all go. You can, if you want to swim this way and kind of go up, so they're kind of going like that, you can do it like that. Or if you want them to go the same direction and go down, then you want to flip it over and cut it from the other side, so that when you turn it over, then your fish are going the direction you want. It's really easy to do. It's not hard. You just draw an arrow on your paper for the direction that you want to go, and then you can cut your fish. And then once your fish are cut, then you can layer it onto the Calypso coral cardstock, and that will show through. So that is how I did those little fish die cut in the page. I hope you enjoy doing this layout, and remember, You just need to make a minimum $50 purchase from any of the design team members' website, then send us an email and request the guide.